Hello, good evening. Hey, hey, hey. Right, let's just go live on IG. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Flex for Football. So this is the first, and I'm going to do this for the next 3 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6:10. And it's just going to be 10 minutes of movement. We're going to do hips and lower back today. Tomorrow will be hamstrings and quads. And then Wednesday will be calves and lower legs. So I really like to break down a sport and look at the muscles and the joints that are used, and then try and create mobility and strength and flexibility moves to help those parts of the body become more mobile and get stronger and become more flexible. All those three things will make you feel stronger when you're running back on the pitch, when you're kicking the ball, okay, when you're going in for a tackle, when you're going to score that goal. So find a little bit of space. We are going to be coming down to the floor. So if you have a wooden floor like me, a mat would be handy just to pad your knees out. So I want you to start with your feet underneath your hips. If you're not sure where that is, bring your feet together. You can turn the toes out just naturally and then bring the heels out in line with toes. That is hip width apart, okay? Everyone's is different. Everyone's toes will turn out wider or narrower. So just join me here in this hip width stance, soften through the knees. Excellent. We're going to start hands on the hips. Now the hips are kind of like what everything hangs off, and what you use for your sport is your legs mostly. So I want you to do some hip circles. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just move those hips around. What I want you to worry about is what it feels like, okay? Can you feel anything in your lower back as you're circling round? Can you feel anything in the front of your hips? Anything in the sides? Anything in the glutes, maybe into the hamstrings? Now do a couple more in this direction, and we're going to change. Circle around the other way. You might notice a difference this way. Have you got any clicking? Any clunking? Any popping? Any cracking? As long as it's not painful, it's okay. Just a couple more circles. Okay, come back to the middle. Now with your hips, I want you to keep your hands on them. I want you to lift one hip up to your rib, lift the heel, and then lift the other heel up, hip to rib. So these are called hip hitches. So it's just lengthening the muscle down one side, contracting the muscle on the other side. Moving those hips in a lateral movement, because the hips move up and down, round and round, and forwards and backwards, which we're about to do in a second. So these are all just really easy ways to see how your back is feeling, really. Just getting the pelvis mobile and moving. Excellent. One more of these each side. Now, keeping your hands on your hips here, I'm going to turn sideways and just get you to better see what my hips are doing. I want you to draw your hips up towards your ribs. So think about squeezing your bottom and tucking the hips up, and then releasing the bottom and letting the hips just poke backwards. Now be very careful how much movement you do here. Notice how it feels in your back when you lift the hips up, and notice how it feels in your back and the front of your hips when you tilt the pelvis backwards. So just some small movements, lifting the hips, lengthening the hips. Let me put my arms up here, just so you can see that movement. Now, don't worry if you haven't got anywhere near as much movement as me. Remember, this is my job to be able to move like this. So if you can do just a third or even a quarter of this movement, that's great. Hopefully, in 3 weeks' time, you'll have a lot more movement here, just from doing this for 10 minutes a day. Do a couple more lifts of the hips. Good. And then rather than having the bum sticking out or the hips pulling all the way up, let them be somewhere in the middle. I'm going to come back to fascia. We're going to start some mobility now through the hip the socket, ball and socket joint of the hip. So you might want to hold on to something. If you've got good balance, you might not need to. With the leg, I just want you to lift it up and let it swing forwards and backwards. Now, these are probably movements that you would do before you go and start kicking a ball about, like warm-up wise. So if you've been sitting at home working hard, not being able to get out and play your sport, just remind your body of these movements, because hopefully in 3 weeks today, you'll be able to get back to training, to five-a-sides, to Saturday and Sunday matches and stuff like that. So if you just start reminding your body now, it won't be such a shock when you get back on the pitch. Okay, change legs. Just a nice easy swing forwards and backwards. Mind your balance, Hayley, that would help. Stay lifted through the chest. As that leg's going backwards, you should feel a squeeze of the bum. And don't be afraid to let the leg lift up high. Just check that you feel balanced and it's not throwing you off your balance. Sometimes if you move the arms with the leg, it gets like a little rhythm going. Do a couple more and relax. So you should feel some warmth in your hips now. Go back to the first leg. It's going to go out to the side and across the body. So I always find I need to hold on when I do this one. And this is just loosening up a bit more around the sides of the hips, in the sides of the glutes. But it's getting the hip to move laterally, like when we was moving the pelvis. So keep that swinging across the body. The leg that you're standing on, soften the knee. Don't stand up too straight through the leg, that is. Through the chest and the spine, nice and tall. One more. Change legs. See if you can find your balance. You can use your arms as well if you're not holding on, if you don't have anything to hold on to, because maybe there's not enough space to hold on to something and swing your leg in the kitchen or wherever you might be. Just let that leg move across the body. Whoa. Good work. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And relax. Okay, we're going to have a little walk in place. So just lift the heels, bend the knees forwards. How does that feel through the lower body? Hopefully something's going on. Maybe it's tight in there. Maybe it feels nice for you to be moving it. Make sure you let me know in the comments afterwards. And if there are any areas that you feel are tight from previous maybe football injuries or anything, then drop me a message, drop me a comment, and we can work on that on one of these Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday evenings. Okay, we're going to take a big breath in, reach up. Now I want you to bend your knees, bring the hands down the front of the body, down the thighs. Make sure you bend your knees. Otherwise, you're going to get to about here if you try and keep your legs straight. Bend your knees. This is to stretch out through the lower back. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Now I've got my knees quite bent here. This is what straight legs look like. And that's quite uncomfortable. And this is what bent knees look like. Tuck your chin to your chest. Let the weight of your head hang down towards the floor. Draw in gently through the tummy. Now we're going to move the hands round to one side. So you should feel that a bit stronger in the leg that you are over. Well done. Come round to the other side. Just a little bit of movement through that lower back. Yes, you'll feel it in your hamstrings, but it's all attached. The hamstrings, the glutes and the lower back. Fantastic. Can you come down slowly onto all fours? Take your time to get there. There's no rush. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, so that's wider than your knees underneath your hips. Lift up through the tummy a little bit, and then we're going to come into a cat-cow position. So if any of you have ever done any yoga, then you're going to arch your back all the way up, but lift the hips up towards the ribs to stretch the lower back. And then slowly stick the bottom out. Thank you, very helpful, Stanley. Good boy. And then change that. Lift the hips up, tuck the chin in, arch through that lower back. And then lower the hips, lower the belly, lengthen the belly, lift the chest a little bit. Now again, as we were standing up doing this with our hips, be careful how much you move here. Last time. And then lengthen. Fabulous. Come back to a neutral position here. I'm going to ask you to bring your right knee in towards your chest. Take it out, lift it up, circle it round and bring it back in. Do that 3 more times. Circle it out and round. Now if you come here, that's fine. I'm just showing you the bigger version, but you do what works for your hip. Now change the direction, take the leg back, lift it up and over and bring it back in. 4 times. So hip circles. When you've done the 4th one, bring the knee back down. Change to the other leg. Knee to chest first. Circle out, up and over. Knee to chest, circle out, up and over. 2 more. Don't forget to breathe while you're doing these. And then change direction. Take the leg out, circle it in. Big circle for that hip, up and over. How's it feeling? Make sure you let me know. 1 more. Lovely. Okay, from here, 1 more stretch for the adductors, so the inner thighs. Step your right leg out. Stay here on your hands. That might be enough through this inner thigh area here. If you want a little bit more, you're going to sit your bum back slowly towards that heel and then bring the weight forwards. Sit back slowly and come forwards. Sit back, come forwards. Do that 1 more time. Come up. Bring that leg in, swap sides. Take it out. Now the foot can be flat or you can roll it in on the edge. See what gives you a better stretch on your inner thigh. Stay in here or gently ease in the weight back and lifting the weight up. Well done. Nice. Slow movement, nothing too quick. And 1 more. Fabulous. Come back to kneeling. I'm going to get you to bring the leg that you just had out to the side up in front. Now I'm going to have to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So last one. I thought that was the last one, but it wasn't. I just looked at my list. This is definitely the last one. So I want you to have 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees at that back knee. If you feel unbalanced, you can tuck the toes there. That's fine. Now I want you to put your hand on this butt cheek. I want you to squeeze that butt cheek and release it. Now as you squeeze the butt cheek, your hip should gently push forwards and lift up and release. So you're going to do that for me 5 times. Make sure that you're squeezing that butt cheek. Feel the stretch come through the hip and release. Squeeze the butt cheek. Almost pull this butt cheek down towards the back of that knee. And then when you've done 5, you're going to stay with a squeezed butt cheek. This arm is going to reach up. Gently tip over, not too far. Don't want you to coat off balance. And release. Going to change sides. So other knee down, other foot up. Put your hand on your butt cheek so you know you're squeezing it. Squeeze and tense the butt cheek. Oh, it's tighter this side. And which side do you feel is tighter? Good. So 5 repetitions. Release. Between each squeeze, let it go. This is number 5. Let it go. Now squeeze last time. Reach this arm up. Gently tip over, away from the hip. Brilliant. Oh, that's much tighter that side. Slowly release. Take your time, come up to your feet. Have a little shake. How does it feel? How does that feel like now if you try it again? Easier? Different? Fantastic, well done. We'll be back tomorrow evening, same time, 6:10. That was a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but it was the first one. And tomorrow we'll work on your quads and your hamstrings, okay? So hope you've enjoyed that. Please let me know in the comments and have a great evening. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you.